The current exhibition at the V&A, Shoes, Pleasure and Pain, looks at shoes from all over the world, from all different times in history, and some of which are unwearable and extreme, and the show looks at their meaning and function. So for a lot of us, our first real introduction to shoes is through fairy tales, and this is what the show starts off with. So for example, a lot of the time, like in Cinderella, shoes help the wearer to become who they really want to be. And one of the really great things that I learned is that Cinderella goes back to the 1st century in Egypt. And you can argue that we've never been more obsessed with shoes. We live in a consumer society, so we buy lots of shoes. Shoes are all over our popular culture, like in Sex and the City. But in the 1st century, our ancestors, to them, shoes had just as much meaning. So I think the lesson here is not to feel guilty about our obsession with shoes and just embrace it and buy as many as we want. But going back to my point about shoes in fairy tales teach us that shoes are important. And shoes are really powerful. By putting on a pair, we're instantly taking on an identity. And how many times have you met someone and there was nothing about them that was revealing anything to you about who they are? And so you look at their shoes, and that's why shoes are so fascinating, because they hold so many layers of meaning, and they're just so much more than just something we wear for practical reasons. One of the things the exhibition explores is by putting on a certain type of shoe, we engage in the performance. So shoes dictate the way that we walk. We can take little steps or we can take huge heavy steps, and there are so many different shoes on display. Anything from your high heels, Dior's, to platforms from 1970s. There are Iranian mules from the 19th century, which are backless shoes, and there are high platform shoes from 19th century China, Medici, and 17th century Italy, which are Chopin shoes. For all the different shoes exhibited, there are small descriptions which tell you the story behind each shoe. So for example, there are 19th century women's paduka shoes from India on display, and these are sandals, silver sandals, and the platforms are really high, and these would be given to a bride on her wedding day as a gift, and it would be one of the most extravagant gifts that she would get. I don't know how easy it would be to actually walk in them, because the platforms are really high and there's nothing actually keeping your foot in the shoe. But when the bride wore them, it would elevate her, and everybody at the wedding would be able to see her and admire her beauty. It was really interesting to look at different shoes and to learn about the meanings behind them, and also to think about my own reasons for wearing certain shoes. So what do your shoes say about you? Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye!